Hey y'all, welcome back. So for today's video, I wanted to take a look at the Birthstone Collection from Barbie. That might seem kind of random, it is a little bit. I'm not sure when I first became aware of these Barbies. It was probably at some point when I was trawling through a Barbie database, because I've done that a few times now, just looking at different types of Barbies, so I think that's where I first heard of them, but they've been on my mind a little bit more lately because it's actually going to be my husband's birthday soon. I think by the time this video goes up, it'll be 2 days away, and so I've been thinking about birthdays, and I was reminded of the Birthstone collection from Barbie, and I thought it would be fun to do a video looking at all of the dolls and like reacting to them and kind of talking about how accurate I think they are to the Birthstone with you guys. I'm hoping this will actually be fun, because like I said, it's kind of a random video, but I thought it was something different and kind of interesting, and so that is what we are going to be doing today. I am going to be giving my opinions as per usual, so like, the typical disclaimer is that these are just my opinions, and if you disagree, that's totally chill. Let me know what you think of your birthday month Barbie in the comments down below. I'm very curious to see whether you guys feel that you've been represented well by these Barbies. And of course, if you do find yourself enjoying the video, if you could give it a like, that's very helpful to me. If you're new here and you enjoy your time, definitely subscribe so you can see more. And if you just want to go the extra mile there, I do have my P.O. Box, Amazon wishlist, and other social medias in the description down below. But without further ado, let's go ahead and actually start looking at these Birthstone Barbies, because we have 12 to get through, so like we gotta pick up the pace a little. So despite the fact that this video is happening because it's my husband's birthday and it's November, we are going to be going in like chronological order, so we are going to be starting off with January. Now I do know that some months have like different birthstone assignments in the sense that like, I don't know any off the top of my head, but I know some of them could be one or the other. Like some birth months have 2 birthstones or 3 birthstones that they could be. I'm just going off of what Barbie has assigned them, obviously. So for January, we are going to be looking at garnet. So I have an image here of some more raw and rough garnet. I don't know if this is like perfectly raw, but I think it gives you a good idea of like what the stone looks like naturally. It's very, very dark, and you can kind of just see the glints of red in there. And then when it is cut, it's very, very, very red. It's quite pretty. I never like thought of garnet, but it's a nice little gemstone there. So this is what the garnet birthstone Barbie looks like. I do think it's pretty. I think my main critique would be that it's leaning a little bit towards like the purpley or even like a little bit pinkish. Like it's almost more of like a wine sort of color than that really true vibrant red that garnet has. The raw garnet was like pretty dark, so I think they could have even gone with like a black color shifting dress that like color shifts to red. Could have been really, really cool. Yeah, I think the color's a smidgen off, so we're not off to like the best start ever. But that being said, I don't think it's the worst that we're gonna see, spoiler alert. It's just kind of middle of the road there, but you know, I hope that if your birthday is in January, you like this one. And then for February, the birthstone is going to be amethyst. So amethyst is interesting, and it's one that I'm more familiar with, and it can come in such a wide variety of colors. Like it can be a very pale, like almost white, or it can be a very, very vibrant purple, and it kind of runs the whole gamut in between that. You can even see it on the same stone, especially if you get like an amethyst geode. A lot of the time they are kind of a gradient between white and like a dark deep purple, which is really, really cool. And I do think that it helped Barbie in this case because it meant that they could go with a wider color scheme and still technically be accurate to the stone. But that's what it looks like raw. I don't know that I'd ever seen cut amethyst before. I was looking it up for this video, but this is an example. I'm assuming that it would be very varied depending on the original like source stone and the color of that, but purple is basically what we're going for. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with the Birthstone collection, if you knew what this was beforehand, you probably aren't surprised. But for those of you who didn't know what the Birthstone collection was, you might be a little shocked to realize this is the same outfit. They're all the same. And I didn't know that until I already started making this video. Like, I had seen one at some point, but I thought that they would all be different, and I was wrong. But I'm committed at this point, so I'm just gonna try to entertain you guys, even though we're just looking at the same dress several times over. But there are recolors, and I do have critiques, and I'm gonna try my best to entertain y'all, because, like, I started doing this, and I was like, I can't back out now, okay?
Never back down, never what?
So this is the amethyst dress. I think that if I was going to critique it, it would be technically, yeah, this is a correct color because amethyst can be so many purples. I think it would have been really, really, really cool to get more of that gradient in there. Like if the base dress had gone like a geode from kind of white to a deep purple, I think that would have been so, so pretty. Yeah, just more variety would have been cool since it is a stone that has so many different colors that it can be. I think it would have been more interesting. Probably too much effort for Barbie to put into this collection since they're just reusing the same outfit every time. It's going to be a common theme this video. I kind of feel bad, but like, we're here now. I saved all the images. This is what we're doing today. So I do think I like the amethyst a little bit better than the garnet just because I think the color is more accurate, but I wish they'd done like a little more. You know, you can always push the envelope a little bit further. Then for March, the stone that we have is aquamarine, and I think that raw aquamarine is actually very pretty because it has that like vibrant color to it in some parts, but you also often get like other colors mixed in there where it's a little bit more green versus more blue, or there's some brown, so you get some yellowy tones in there, and I just think it looks really nice. Like I am kind of a fan of raw stones. I think that they can be really, really beautiful. And then this is what it will look like when it's cut, or at least an example of what it can look like when it's cut. So I get like if you're cutting a stone, you're probably trying to make like a ring or something, and to mass market that, it's probably better to have it be all one pure color. So it does look a lot more solid and like all one color. I still think the raw stones are prettier, but this is what the Barbie Aquamarine March, I almost said February, March Birthstone Barbie looks like. And I really do like this one. I think it helps that I'm partial to the color. I think this is very pretty. I feel like maybe there's a bit more glitter on this one, or maybe it's just more noticeable on this one than it has been on the other two. And they do all have different necklaces that have like the bright color of the stone on there. But something about this just feels better to me. I don't know if it's also because it is a mermaid cut dress and I'm thinking of the movie Aquamarine, so maybe that's the connection that I'm making and that's making me like it more. But I think this is a really pretty one. I think this looks really good, and even though they're all the same cut and everything, I do think this one lives up just a little bit better in my head. Next up we have April, which is my birth month, so we are looking at diamonds. This is, I think this is a raw diamond. I was trying to find like a good image and they all looked fake to me. I'm gonna be 100% honest, and I was like trying to use my internet skills to find a real one. I've just never seen a raw diamond before, and so I wasn't prepared, I suppose, but much more familiar with the cut variety because like I feel like everyone has seen a cut diamond at some point in their life, whether it's like an image or in real life. Like they're popular for jewelry, so I feel like this is a well-known image, if that makes sense. And the cool thing about diamonds, yes, this is my birth month, so like maybe I'm just hyping up my birthstone. And I know that there is the issue of like a lot of times they're very unethically sourced, and that could be said for a lot of gemstones, but I'm just saying in terms of the aesthetic value of them is I used to know the proper term for it, and I don't know it right off the top of my head. But when they're very clear, they have like this radiance to them, and they reflect a lot of rainbows, and it's so, so pretty. So this is what the diamond Barbie looks like, and I think she's a bit disappointing. Like, obviously at this point we're getting a bit sick of the same deal. But even within that, I just feel like this doesn't even come close to reflecting what a diamond looks like and like the brilliance of a real diamond. I know that that's probably very hard to do because it is like a unique quality, but this just isn't working for me. I think it'd be really cool if we could have gotten something that showed off the sparkle and like that reflectiveness inside just a little bit better. This might have even looked better if the actual dress was black and then they had put the white rhinestones on top to represent diamond to like make them pop a little bit more. Because against the white background, they're looking very silvery instead of like clear. I don't know. And I mean, diamonds do come in different colors, so it could be accurate. I'm just not enthused about this one, and maybe it's because, again, that's my birthstone, and so I wanted it to be really good. But like Aquamarine showed this one up 100%. So while I was filming, my SD card died, and I thought that I caught it and switched it in time, but apparently I was wrong because I'm missing the footage for Emerald. Thankfully, it's just that one. So real quick, here's the raw emerald or rough emerald, and then here is a cut emerald, and then the Barbie. I do think she's pretty middle of the road. I don't think that she's like amazing, stand out, the most beautiful one, but like I also definitely don't think she's bad. So at least I didn't accidentally miss an important one where I had like a really fun reaction. Next up, we have Pearl, and so we have some, like, raw natural pearls. Typically, these will be like more misshapen than a like perfect intentionally grown pearl. And they come in a wide variety of colors, which is really, really cool. Pearls are interesting because they have like a specific luster to them that I feel like isn't replicated by almost anything else. It's just very unique and very cool. This is what a like perfectly round pearl would look like. And then this is what the pearl Barbie looks like. This is a little bit of a lower quality image. Some of them I couldn't find like a super good one, so I am sorry for that. It's just a bit boring, you know? Like, I feel like the difference between this and the Diamond Barbie is not much. Like, the Diamond Barbie had slightly more silvery gems, at least based on these stock photos. But it's just still not a lot. And I'm like, it's literally pearl. Like, you should have done the fake pearls. I understand if you want all of them to be the same, so you keep the same cut and the same, like, fabrics and everything. But instead of the rhinestones, they should have used fake pearls, right? Like, it's literally pearl. I just think this is not enough. I didn't mean for this to turn into a rant video. I'm sorry. Next up is July, and we have Ruby here. So this is so interesting to me because the rough Ruby is more purpley than you would think, or at least than I would think. Sometimes it is like more on the brown side, but when it does get that reddish tone, it is kind of tending towards the purple, which is hilarious to me because this is like kind of similar to what the garnet dress looked like. Not quite, but like it kind of fits. And then a cut ruby. The example I have here is very vibrant red, and red is what you think of when you think of ruby. But there is like a little flash of the pink in there, and even the shadows are like a bit more purpley. It's just really cool. I think colors are so fascinating, and like these stones are so fascinating in the different ways they interact with color. And this Barbie I do think is kind of better just because like if you look at the shine on the dress, it does give off that kind of pink flash. We've got the darker red, and it does feel, maybe it's just the lighting, but it does feel like this fabric is reflecting kind of nicely. We've got a few different tones of red, and this just feels more like a gemstone to me. I don't know if it's a different rhinestone that they used or whether they just picked really, really good colors this time, but I feel like the shine and the gemstones seeming like they're such different colors based on this image really gives you that full spectrum that you get within the stones, whether it's the rough stones where like they come with so many different colors or the reflections in the cut stones. I think this one's really, really nice, actually. This is probably one of the better ones. So finally, something good to say. I apologize if I've said any of the months wrong. I think I've been on track, but I don't know. But we are in August, and that is Peridot. Peridot is such a cool stone. I had never looked at one before this video. This is a doll channel, and I'm talking about gemstones more than I'm talking about the dolls. But the color is so, so cool. It's so unique, and it's just such a beautiful green. I love it. And then even when it's cut, it's so fun. It's like a toxic, like acid green in the best way. It's so cool. There's a lot of different colors in there, as with pretty much all of these. And listen, okay, here's the Barbie. I grabbed the images for the Barbies before I grabbed the images of the gemstones to compare them to. And so I had never seen Peridot before. So when I saw this Barbie, I was like, this is the coolest one on the list. Like, I just love the colors in here. I think it's just the gemstones that make it look like a gradient, but we do have like the shawl that she's got as like a more vibrant, almost like fluorescent green, and we've got kind of a paler green for the dress and greens and the rhinestones. I thought this looked amazing, and it really truly does if you take it away from Peridot. But if you compare it with Peridot, it's just the wrong color entirely. And that's not to say that it's not cool and not like a fun color that I would like to see used in a design. But it's just, it's flat out not the right color, and I think it would have been so interesting to see this dress on that slightly more yellow tone green and like that acidy feel to it. I think it would have been so, so cool to get to see that, and we didn't. So like, I'm torn because I love her, but also I'm disappointed. I kind of feel like I'm talking too much, so I'm gonna try to speed it up here. We've got Sapphire. We are looking at blue Sapphire. I believe it can come in different colors, but blue is like the typical, like stereotypical one that you would think of. So we've got some slightly more rough stones and then a nice vibrant blue sapphire. And then this is the actual Barbie. This is a really bad photo. I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know why these were so hard to find good ones for. Some of them were just super blurry. but it's same cut and everything, so it's not that hard to imagine what it looks like. We're mostly focusing on the colors, and I do think this is a solid one. I feel like it's very royal blue, and maybe that's just a color that I'm not as attached to, because I don't feel a ton of enthusiasm, but I do feel like this is fairly accurate, so like kudos to them for that one. October. This is probably my favorite gemstone, is opal. Oh, even just saying it, just thinking about it. Opals are so beautiful. They come in so many different colors. There's very many like types of opals, but they all have this amazing iridescent rainbow quality to them. They are so shiny and shimmery and beautiful, and I love them so much. Like even the raw opals, some of these gemstones have a pretty intense like transformation between when they are like raw or rough and when they are cut and like polished and everything. Opals are just beautiful no matter what. Like they're just so pretty, but then when you do get them all polished up and shaped, oh my goodness. I have an opal ring and I love it. They're so beautiful. Main thing here is that I think most people think of like a white opal when they think of opal. At least that's what I think of. Maybe I'm just projecting there. And then the rainbows, that's like the big thing. And this is what we got from Barbie. And like they tried. I hope it like is easy enough to see on your screens, because there is like some sort of iridescence here, some sort of multicolored aspect. Like the dress seems like it's like a slightly pink color, and then the shimmer, whether it's glitter or rhinestones, I can't 100% tell on there. I've been saying rhinestones this whole video. What if it was glitter? It's too late to go back now, but feel free to roast me in the comments. I just assumed it would be rhinestones. Like, I looked at this, saw something shiny, and was like, it's obviously rhinestones because they're Birthstone dolls. But I feel like this one's glitter, and they may have all been glitter. Anyway, that's actually pretty embarrassing of me. But I feel like the glitter has like a slightly shimmery effect. It's just not enough. Like, look at the literal rainbows, the like neon, beautiful, intense, saturated colors of an opal, and then you get this. It's pretty, but it's not enough. And even her necklace that is supposed to have not like a real opal stone, but like a stone to look like an opal in it, doesn't look like an opal. And I feel very passionately about this, and I am upset. Then we come to November, whose birthstone is Topaz, as assigned by Barbie, and Topaz can come in different colors. We're looking at more of like the yellowy brown ones because, not to spoil the only thing that's surprising about these dresses at this point, but that's the color that we have. So the raw Topaz looks not like boring, but compared to some other ones, I think it's a little less surprising. And then the cut Topaz in this brown color, very, very pretty. It does like shimmer and shine and reflect a lot, which is super cool. And then this is the Barbie that we got for it. I do like the brown because I feel like sometimes when I've thought of Topaz in the past, I think of more of a yellowy color. And so it is, at least to me, kind of more unexpected to go the brown route. And it is pretty. I think all of these other dolls, with the exception of like the pearl and the diamond and opal that are kind of more on the white end of the spectrum, they're all very vibrant colors. And so it's kind of cool to get a slightly more neutral tone in there with the Topaz. I do like the colors that they chose. I feel like Topaz has a wide range, so like it's hard to be inaccurate with that. And the glitter probably that they're using looks kind of goldish, which gives it a good sparkle, and it's got very interesting colors that it like reflects. I think this is a nice one. It's kind of maybe one that isn't looked at as much if you aren't born in November, just because I feel like the brown, for a lot of people, brown isn't like their favorite color, or at least people that I've met, that's not like their first color. It might be like their favorite neutral, but I don't meet a lot of people who say brown is their favorite color, period. So I feel like this one might get glossed over, but she's cute. Also, just thought about this, but since it is like my husband's birthstone, I'm gonna go, he's home right now, very luckily. I'm gonna go ask him what he thinks of this Barbie, so give me 1 second. He didn't like it, so we're moving on. That brings us to December, which is the last one, obviously. And for December, we have turquoise, which I think is another amazing stone. It's just so pretty. So even raw turquoise is like astoundingly beautiful. The colors are just so nice, and the speckling that you get in it with, I'm assuming it's like another mineral that's in there. I don't actually know that much about rocks and stuff. I like them, I think they're beautiful, but like the knowledge just seeps out of my brain. But you can get like black speckling and black lines going through. You can get like brown, and it's just, it's so pretty. And then it's interesting too, because at least what I see more from like turquoise is it doesn't get cut like an emerald or a ruby would, but more so it's just kind of polished. And then I think it's really fun because a lot of jewelry that is made with it is kind of more irregular, like they aren't making it this perfect sphere. They can, like, you can do that, but it's not all the time. I think turquoise is a stone that gets loved for what it is a lot more, and I think that's kind of cool because it's mostly just polished to give it some shine and then set or turned into beads or pendants and stuff like that. And I just think it's really beautiful and very unique, and I don't like this Barbie. I know that Mattel Creations did just recently release for their Barbie members a turquoise, I think they're called the Crystal Fantasy series of Barbies, and I think that that doll isn't perfect, but I think she's a lot better. This is just not it. Like, first of all, it's the wrong color. Like, the top little portion and the shawl isn't terrible, but the actual dress is like too deep a blue to me to read as turquoise, because turquoise has a lot more of that green to it. Sometimes it feels almost actually green. Yeah, there is a lot of variety, but this just doesn't feel right. It doesn't have any like the speckling featured on there. I just think this is a disappointing one, and I'm sorry that we're ending on it. I'm pretty sure January was disappointing as well, so full circle here. But yeah, I don't think this is... It doesn't read turquoise to me. Like, if you handed me this doll and was like, hey, guess what stone this was based on, I would say maybe like sapphire or even aquamarine, even though it's not the right color for aquamarine either. I never would guess turquoise. And I can't see because this is like kind of a bad stock photo. Her pendant might look more like turquoise. But the doll itself, I'm sorry to December people, but also all of the months that I insulted, because I really only liked a couple of these. This is a video on how I don't like the Birthstone Barbies. I think it's a cool concept, but I think that there are so many dolls which have such unique gemstones, and like there's just something cool to find about every gemstone, and I don't feel like Barbie exploited that. They kind of just made generic dolls that are all like recolors, which I guess I shouldn't be that surprised because it feels kind of on brand for Barbie, but that's where we're at. So I hope you were able to enjoy the video. Like I said, I really just was like committed to this idea, so I had to see it through. But I hope it was interesting for you guys. Definitely let me know in the comments how you feel about these, how you feel about your birthstone, and which one is your favorite and all of that jazz. But yeah, otherwise, I hope you have a lovely rest of your day or your night, or whatever it might be, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Bye, guys.